Anybody else wondering why Jakub Lauko is going up and down from Providence like a yo-yo? Well, we're going to talk about that as well as updated Eastern Conference power rankings and a preview of tonight's game against the Blackhawks on today's episode of Locked On Boston Bruins.
You're Locked On Bruins, your daily podcast on the Boston Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Bruins fans, and welcome back to the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast. I'm your host, Ian McLaren, and this is a daily show where we discuss all things Spoke to Be. Today is Tuesday, March 14th. The Bruins are back in action tonight against the Chicago Blackhawks. We're going to preview that game later on, but I want to thank you so much first for making Locked On Bruins part of your day. The podcast is free and available on your favorite podcast platform as well as on YouTube. So please do open up the app, smash that subscribe button so that you never miss a thing. If you're on Twitter, Instagram, speaking of apps, you can find the podcast at Locked NHL Bruins, and you can find me, my dad jokes, and hockey tweets at Ian C. McLaren, which I will pop up on the screen for those of you on YouTube. All right, now the Bruins were off yesterday as they licked their wounds from Sunday's loss to the Detroit Red Wings, and as they moved to Chicago for tonight's game against the Blackhawks. Now, those of you paying attention would have noticed that Jakub Lauko, who was called up on an emergency basis over the weekend, he was sent back to Providence on Sunday, now recalled again on Monday, and likely to join the team for the remainder of the road trip, or at least part of it, at least. And why is that? Well, as we've been talking about, load management season is upon us. Jim Montgomery has plans on giving veteran players on the Bruins some rest down the stretch. And that will likely happen during this road trip. They've already clinched a playoff spot. They have much bigger goals than winning the President's Trophy or even setting the record for the best regular season. He already said that Jakub Lauko is going to play on the 5-game road trip. They're already rotating defensemen in and out with the arrival of Dmitry Orlov. We've seen Connor Clifton, Derek Forbort, Matt Grzelcyk take a seat at points. There could be nights where 2 defensemen get a break, with Zboril getting some time. He's been often scratched this season, mostly due to depth at defense and the fact that he's not waiver exempt. Can't just send him down to Providence. And it'll be good to get him some time because you never know what's going to happen down the stretch. There could be some injuries that prompt him to be a regular in the rotation. That would be problematic, obviously, not because of his play, not because I don't think he's a capable defenseman, but that means at least 2 defensemen are injured. So it's a good problem to have on the blue line at the moment with 8 healthy defensemen. You need that depth, especially in the playoffs, and they're going to lean on it down the stretch to give some guys some rest. Even Dmitry Orlov might get some rest down the stretch here. Now, Lauko has been up and down all season long. He started the season with the team, came up when Jake DeBrusk, Thomas Nosek were injured. He has 17 points in 35 games with the Providence Bruins. Last played with them on March 2nd. The Boston Bruins, I should say. Last played with them on the 2nd of March. He's got 3 goals, 2 assists in 12 games this season, which is pretty good production for a depth player who's been in and out of the lineup. And Right now they have 12 healthy forwards. Nick Foligno, Taylor Hall, injured. And so his addition to the roster on this road trip means that perhaps the likes of Patrice Bergeron or David Krejci will get a break. Perhaps Brad Marchand, who's admitted he still has a ways to go after his hip surgery, could take a seat. So expect Lauko and Zboril to both get into the lineup here over the remainder of this road trip. They play tonight in Chicago, then they head to Winnipeg, Minnesota, and then end the road trip in Buffalo. Now, there was a report that Taylor Hall would join the team for practice beginning yesterday. Practice was scrapped yesterday, and I don't believe they have an official practice scheduled again until maybe Friday. So we'll have to see if he's taking part in morning skates as an extra. But that's the plan, and that is why Lauko has been up and down. He didn't actually make the trip when he was recalled, up and down, and he hilariously tweeted about it yesterday with the Simpsons gif of Grandpa going in and out, in and out. But he should be in the lineup at some point. We'll preview that game specifically later on in the podcast. Up next, we'll do a quick look at the Eastern Conference power rankings. But first, a quick word about today's sponsor, the FanDuel Sportsbook. Now, FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of Locked On and the NBA. And the NBA going strong right now. It's the perfect time to download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. New customers get a no-sweat first bet of up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, which is safe, secure, and super easy to use. And you can bet on everything from money line to point scorers and threes drained. FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a bigger chance at a same game parlay. Don't miss the chance to get your no sweat first bet of up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Let's take a look at the Eastern Conference standings now and update the power rankings. Let me share my screen here so that you can get a look at what I'm looking at. As has been the case for quite some time, the top six pretty well set in the Eastern Conference. Make this a bit bigger here. Top six teams, Boston already clinching a playoff spot, followed by Carolina and New Jersey, who are now tied atop the Metropolitan Division standings. Although the Hurricanes have a game in hand, they are dealing with a potentially disastrous loss in Andrei Svechnikov, who reportedly is getting a second opinion on a torn ACL. And it looks as though Jesse Puljujarvi will take Svechnikov's spot on the team's top line with Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis. Huge loss for the Carolina Hurricanes. And he's their third leading scorer, second leading scorer over the last 5 seasons cumulatively. And that's a big loss, certainly, for the Carolina Hurricanes. So the Devils could potentially overtake them and avoid a first-round meeting with the New York Rangers. You can see New Jersey also has the edge in goal differential, plus 58 compared to plus 52 for the Hurricanes. Then you can see that the New York Rangers have actually overtaken the Tampa Bay Lightning for 5th place when it comes to point differential. They have a game less than the Lightning, on their record, 636 compared to 627, and they have a better goal differential as well. Toronto still firmly entrenched in fourth, 40, 18, and 8, despite losing last night to the Buffalo Sabres. So if you look at 1 through 8, the middle matchup no longer mirrors the division format. Under the old format, Toronto would play the Rangers and New Jersey would play Tampa. We all know that's going to be flipped at the moment. Now, let's look a bit further down and see who's still alive, who's still kicking around in the wild card race. Pittsburgh, they've gone 7-2-1 over their last 10, 2 wins in a row, and they have a firm grip on the first wild card spot in the Eastern Conference. 66 games played, 34, 22, and 10, 78 points, a .591 point percentage. And we're going to look at point percentage because that really tells a better picture of who's actually in the running here. The Islanders holding down the second wildcard spot. That would be the team the Bruins play in the first round. I don't love that matchup, to be honest, because of Ilya Sorokin in net. He's arguably Linus Ullmark's biggest competition when it comes to the Vezina Trophy, perhaps also Connor Hellebuck out in the Western Conference. So don't love that at the moment. Who's closing in? Well, the Florida Panthers still kicking around. They've got a game in hand on the Islanders, 3 points back, a 545 point percentage. The Sabres did themselves a favor by winning last night against the Maple Leafs. They're 5 points back of the Islanders with 2 games in hand. Senators, Capitals, Red Wings, still kind of within striking distance, but it looks like it's really going to come down to the Sabres and the Panthers in terms of who might be able to catch the Islanders. One of these teams, Ottawa, Washington, or Detroit, would have to go on a real heater here. Detroit, you can see, has a -18 goal differential, not helping their cause. Ottawa, -5 goal differential. Buffalo, Florida, only at +3. It really looks right now that the top 8 teams are locked in, but Florida is a team to keep an eye on for sure as the reigning President's Trophy winners. And then down in the bottom of the conference, you have Columbus, Montreal, Philadelphia. Columbus looking to run away with the Connor Bedard sweepstakes. So 1 through 8 at the moment. Boston, Carolina, New Jersey, Toronto, the top 4 teams. The Rangers, Lightning, Penguins, Islanders, the bottom 4 playoff teams. And then Florida, Buffalo, Ottawa, trying to stay alive here in the Eastern Conference playoff picture. And again, a team that I don't want to face would probably be the New York Islanders based on their very talented goaltending in Ilya Sorokin. And that's something that last week when I was talking to Scott McLaughlin of WEEI, he said the same thing. Islanders, probably the team that would scare me the most of any potential first-round opponent. Now, looking at some underlying numbers, the Florida Panthers are a top 3 team when it comes to shot differential at 5-on-5. They're top 4 in terms of expected goals. And if anybody can make some noise here, it could be them in terms of disrupting the current playoff race in the Eastern Conference. So keep an eye on them for sure. We are going to do a quick preview of tonight's game against the Chicago Blackhawks. But first, a word about today's other sponsor, which is Athletic Greens. Now, Athletic Greens has been helping people with their immune system and their gut health for quite a while now. What is this stuff? Well, with one delicious scoop of AG1, you can absorb 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. It's a special blend of ingredients that supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, energy, recovery, focus, and aging. Tons of people take all kinds of multivitamins, and it's important to choose one with high quality ingredients that your body will actually absorb. AG1 is a small micro habit with big benefits. Your subscription comes with a year supply of vitamin D, which is so important to add in the winter months when we don't get as much sunlight. Reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. And they're going to give you, again, a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Just visit athleticgreens.com/NHL network. That's athleticgreens.com/NHL network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutrition insurance. All right, the Bruins are in Chicago to take on the lowly Blackhawks, who we love to see are not good at all. They are 3-6-1 over their last 10 games, 22, 38, and 6 overall. One of the worst teams in the NHL, and a team that the Bruins should certainly beat here tonight, rebounding after that tough loss the other day to the Detroit Red Wings. Over the last 5 games, these are the guys leading the team in points. Andreas Athanasiou, Seth Jones leading the team with 3 goals. Offense hard to come by. And the Bruins did beat this team 6-1 back in November. The Blackhawks have the 29th ranked power play, 22nd ranked penalty kill, 32nd ranked offense, and the 25th ranked defense. So again, this is a game the Boston Bruins should win by any measure. The Blackhawks no longer have Patrick Kane in the lineup. Jonathan Toews is out with injury, and they're led in scoring by Seth Jones, who has 31 points through 56 games. The Bruins have a bunch of players better than that, including Pavel Zacha, David Pastrnak, Brad Marchand, David Krejci, Taylor Hall, who's not playing tonight, Jake DeBrusk, Charlie Coyle. Charlie Coyle would be the leading scorer on the Blackhawks by 5 points, and he's well down the list in terms of Boston's leading scorers. So, quick preview of tonight's game. Boston very much should win this one. Peter Mrazek, Alex Stalock are the goalies in Chicago. Stalock's put up pretty good numbers, actually, .920 save percentage. I would expect Linus Ullmark will get the start for the Bruins after Swayman's played 2 of the last 3. Short story, Boston should, Boston must win tonight's game, and hopefully playing against such a poor defensive team will help the power play get back on track after a rough stretch here where they rank, I think, 27th since February 1st. So that's it, my friends. That's your quick update on the Boston Bruins. Wide Lauko is up and down. Eastern Conference power rankings, who they're scheduled to meet in the first round, and hopefully we can avoid the Islanders because I don't really love that matchup. Not to say they're going to lose, but Sorokin is a guy that I'd be worried about in the playoffs. Consider yourselves caught up on all things black and gold. I hope you're all having a great week so far. It's March break up here. Boys are out on an outing today, so it's nice and quiet in the house. You cannot hear any yelling over Fortnite or Gang Beasts, which we've started playing yesterday. Hear that? Me neither. It's beautiful. Have a great Tuesday. Go Bruins tonight. We'll talk to you again here tomorrow on Locked On Boston Bruins, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your favorite team every single day.